Guys, I've been thinking, did Tinubu become president just to make life hard for Nigerians or... And Alhaji Aliko Dangote, you can do better than to agree to sell only to NNPC. Haba! What's up, guys? It's your girl Adiola. Do you know that when Dangote opened his refinery, the biggest single train refinery in the world, not the biggest in the world, but the biggest single train refinery in the world, which means that as a country, we no longer have to sell our crude oil and then buy refined oil from other countries. We can finally do everything in our own country with our own currency. Guys, after 28 years, 3 decades, guys, this was supposed to bring down the price of fuel significantly. There's no more need for subsidy because we are no longer importing. Dangote is able to produce more than Nigeria needs on a daily basis. But guess what, guys? I have come to the conclusion that we have demons in power. People that are bent on making sure that Nigeria as a country doesn't work, that life doesn't get better for the regular people. I beg, I have not mentioned anybody's name. I'm just speaking in generally, you know. Instead of Nigerians having easy access to refined oil, our government has now decided that NNPC will be the sole buyer from Dangote. So we now have to buy from NNPC. Who, what, where, what? You know, Dangote is making cement. We don't have to go through the government to buy his cement. Why do we have to go through the government to buy his fuel? I'll tell you why. Because Tinubu's government wants to continue to justify paying subsidies. So you know how they will do this thing? They will negotiate with Dangote behind closed doors. Let's assume that they agree on buying fuel from Dangote at, you know, let's say 600 naira per liter. It's just an example. They will now tell us that, you know, it costs a lot to get it from Dangote in Lagos, right? In fact, we have to pay him 800 naira per liter. But because we are very nice, we will sell it to you at a discounted price of 400 naira per liter, so that they can continue paying themselves subsidy of 400 naira per liter. This is evil. This is our genuine. In fact, this is worse than witchcraft. Then even the witches and wizards in our country, they no do reach Nigerian government. And all this yahoo, all these scammers, they no scammers reach our own government. This is evil. And Dangote shouldn't have agreed to this arrangement. Haba! But of course, he also wants to maximize his profit. No, so Alhaji, why am I even getting ahead of myself, guys? Let's go back for you to know how evil these people are. You know, we have 4 refineries in Nigeria. None of them has worked as it should in the last 28 years. That is almost 3 decades of our leaders intentionally refusing to do whatever is necessary to get our refineries to work so that we can continue to depend on importing refined oil. Now, the crazy thing, guys, is every year they will tell us that they spent billions of naira on fixing our refineries. But the refineries don't work. Do you know that last year, Nigerian lawmakers revealed that we've spent $25 billion in the last 10 years to fix our refineries? $25 billion. Dollars, not naira. God. If you convert that to naira as of last year, that is 11.3 trillion naira. And that's just within the last 10 years, guys. So we've spent way more than that on fixing our refineries. Now, how much did Dangote spend to build a brand new refinery? How much did he spend to build his own brand new? $20 billion to build the biggest refinery in Africa. And we have spent more than $25 billion just in the last 10 years. Did he not start building his refinery 10 years ago? 25 billion to fix 4 refineries that were already built. They were just fixing them and they still didn't work. Wow. Oh, wow. Do you think we can account for this money, 25 billion? Of course not. First of all, we know they did not spend 25 billion on the refineries. Now, where that money went to, unfortunately, we would never know the people that embezzled that money. 25 billion. This is a huge scandal, guys. We are being scammed. These people never wanted a functioning refinery in Nigeria, whether owned by the government or an individual. They did not want any refinery to work in Nigeria. They didn't want NNPC refineries to work so that they would continue paying themselves subsidies. And of course, they have refused to privatize them all these years. We are still paying NNPC workers, by the way, on top of all of that, even though they did not process a single barrel of crude oil. Do you know that in 2019, we paid NNPC workers 357 billion naira? in wages and benefits. 357. In fact, their salaries and allowances went up last year, 2023. We paid them 583 billion. So not only are we spending billions of dollars in the name of fixing our refineries, but we are also spending billions on salaries for workers that are not generating any revenue from refining crude oil because they are not doing it. So as much as we accuse Dangote of monopolizing oil production, yes, we all accuse him of monopolizing a lot of things in Nigeria. But guess what? Nigerian government never had the intention of making their own refineries work. If they wanted it to, they would have made them work all this while. If they wanted it to work, they would have made them work or privatized them. So we cannot blame Dangote for seizing that opportunity of a government that intentionally sabotages its own people. And for you to know how much they didn't want any functional refinery in Nigeria. As soon as Dangote's refinery started producing diesel, what happened? Alhaji Farouk Ahmed, the CEO of Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, announced publicly that the quality of Dangote's diesel is inferior to the one that they are importing for us from the abroad, and that therefore we have to continue to import fuel. Okay, so you know it is one thing to be a liar, and I'm not calling my father a liar, God forbid. I'm just saying generally, some people are liars and they know it. But for you to now have the audacity to tell the kind of lie that can be publicly exposed with the truth means that you either have no conscience or you forgot that this is the age of social media where you no longer have monopoly over information. Not everybody is getting their news from NTA. Amen, somebody. The man's claim that Dangote's diesel is inferior now made lawmakers go to Dangote's refinery. He invited them and he invited the press, not just NTA. You get what I'm saying? Only for them to now find out that his own diesel is 80 times cleaner, 80 times better than the one that our government has been importing for us from Malta. Malta is another topic for another day, by the way. But guys, check out the quality of